Another year come and gone, and so it is time yet again to attempt to predict the easiest tournament probably in world football to predict, the Club World Cup. This is the 2021 edition of the Club World Cup, and this may unfortunately be the last edition to feature this format where it's the winners of all the independent Champions Leagues playing at the end of the year, or in this case, a little bit delayed at the beginning of the year, because pre-COVID, FIFA was talking about, expanding it to a larger Club World Cup, and since COVID happened, there's kind of been a bit of fluctuation, and they're pretty much going on a year-by-year basis onto whether or not this version of the Club World Cup will continue to play. Which is a shame because the Club World Cup is potentially the most interesting tournament FIFA can have. To have club teams from all around the world play against each other, that's something that just doesn't happen very often, and it's something that I think a lot of fans would be excited to see. But unfortunately, it's never really fit into the FIFA calendar, so we still are left with this format, which is good, and if this is all we can get, I'm happy with it, but I would like to see at the very least this format move forward. So first off, we have the host team from the UAE, Al Jazeera, versus OFC nominated team because OFC didn't play the 2021 OFC Champions League, AS Pira from Tahiti. Now, this is the return of the OFC to the tournament after in 2020, New Zealand didn't send their team, which was supposed to go, and no one in OFC really wanted to send a team during COVID, so we ended up having two host teams fighting each other. Now we have the OFC team back, but it's off of nomination. This is a Tahitian side that won the Tahitian League. Actually, it was supposed to be the New Zealand team nominated Auckland City, but they again didn't go due to COVID travel restrictions in New Zealand, so AS Parai from Tahiti gets that spot. And now we have a team here who hasn't played a football match outside of Tahiti since the start of COVID. This is going to be the first time that they are going to play any sort of international competition. So to do that, going up right against Al Jazeera, that's going to be a tough match for Tahiti. This is a team that's coming from the Tahitian League. I don't see them being comparable to the UAE League. I think Al Jazeera from the UAE is going to easily take this match and move on. Now in the second round here, we have Al Jazeera from the UAE versus Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia. Al Hilal are the defending champions of the AFC Champions League and are consistently year in, year out one of the better teams in Asia. Al Jazeera wasn't in the most recent Champions League, so overall just in terms of experience at this level, experience at the continental level, experience just kind of in these sorts of matches, Al Hilal is my bet to win, and also just in terms of pure club standing on a global level, Al Hilal should be the one to take this and should be the heavy favorites in this match. On the bottom second round match, we have Al Ali from Egypt and Monterey from Liga MX in Mexico. Al Ali, with their most recent Champions League win, just added to the legend of this team, one of the most winningest teams in world football, dominating Egypt, dominating Africa, 10 Champions Leagues in Africa, getting back to the Club World Cup, a tournament which they are very familiar with, going up against a Monterey team that also quite dominant in North America. And so this is a real nice matchup of the best of North America versus the best of Africa. Monterey also coming to this tournament following Tigres making it all the way to the final representing CONCACAF last year. Monterey, in my opinion, not as strong as a team as that Tigres team, but I think they still are more than strong enough that a semi-final performance should be expected from them. Al Ali, very good. They could easily win this match. However, I'm going to give a slight edge to Monterey. I think that just the top level in Liga MX, the level of competition Monterey usually plays in Liga MX, they're used to playing tougher opposition more regularly than I think Al Ali is used to. I think in this sort of match, Monterey has a slight edge. Maybe Al Ali is as good as Monterey, but I think just in terms of used to playing this level of competition, Monterey has to take the edge, and they're my choice to move on. Semi-finals, Al Hilal versus Chelsea. This is a pretty obvious one. Chelsea just won the Champions League, fantastic team in the Champions League's box, plays weekly in the English Premier League, playing against teams way more talented than Al Hilal on a weekly basis. Again, for the European team in the Club World Cup, it's win or disappointment. Like, they're expected to win every single time, and Chelsea this year is no exception. Chelsea is my choice to go past Al Hilal. To the other side, Monterey versus Palmyras. Palmyras last year famously lost to Tigres in the semi-final. Disappointing for a Brazilian team and South American team not to make it to the final of the Club World Cup, which is what they're expected to do. This year, however, Monterey, again, I think is not as good as Tigres was. last year. I think Tigres has an ability to punch above their weight at a level that I don't think many other teams in North America can and in CONCACAF can. So while Monterey had their work cut out for them to win the CONCACAF Champions League, I think Copa Libertadores winner Palmyras has the edge and should win this match. And that should bring us to a classic Club World Cup final, South America versus Europe, Chelsea versus Palmyras. And while it has been done before for the South American team to win the Club World Cup, you always gotta bet on the European team. Just the amount of money and funds that Chelsea has compared to any other team in this tournament, you'd have to be insane to bet against them. Yes, Brazil has some very talented players. Yes, Palmyras has some very talented players and is a very good team, but the best go to Europe for a reason, and that's because that's where the best play. And if with all the money that Chelsea has thrown at all these players over the years can't beat Palmyras or Al Hilal, they have an issue. So Chelsea is my pick to win the 2021 FIFA Club World Cup. So there you have it. That's how I think the upcoming 2021 Club World Cup is going to play out. Pretty much expected, honestly. This is probably the most basic bracket you can make for this tournament, and honestly, this tournament, like, I want it to expand because I feel like there's so much potential with the Club World Cup. With this current form, you know, Europeans don't really treat it that highly because they always win. Why wouldn't they treat it highly? Their one team shows up, plays 2 games in the semifinals. It's more of a disruption to their season more than anything. But for these other teams, it really is a chance to go up against a European squad. And that's something where for 5 of the 6 continents, this is a very exciting tournament to have a team go and have a chance to play against a European team, which is why I think an expansion will be nice if it fits into the calendar. But if things don't work out with that sort of expansion for FIFA, hopefully at the very least they stay with this format, because having the Champions Leagues means something. To be able to go and play against the best team in Europe in the Club World Cup, have that opportunity, just adds so much more value to the CONCACAF Champions League, the AFC Champions League, the African Champions League. So hopefully that at the very least the Club World Cup stays in this format, because it just sparks the imagination. Chelsea's still gonna win though, but you know, maybe something incredible could happen. That is it for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.